Hello everyone, I am Uday Rajesh, Assistant Professor in Physics, Government First Grade College, Bettampadi, Putturu Taluku. In this video, we are going to discuss about photoelectric effect. Before going into the photoelectric effect in detail, we will discuss about what exactly the light is. Nature of light has fascinated mankind ever since he could see. In the year 1704, Isaac Newton wrote a book entitled Optics, in which he explained many phenomena of light like reflection, refraction, and rectilinear propagation of light by considering light has corpuscular or particle nature, which came to be known as Newton's particle model of light or corpuscular model of light. The wave model of light was first put forward by Christian Huygens, and in 1801 it was confirmed by Thomas Young. He explained the phenomenon of interference of light using the famous Young's double slit experiment. Later, in the same century, Augustin Fresnel and Joseph Fraunhofer developed diffraction theory using Huygens' wave model of light and successfully explained the diffraction phenomenon. In and around 1860s, Maxwell developed electromagnetic theory, and in which he proved that light is an electromagnetic wave and it does not require any medium for its propagation. Thus, in the latter part of the 19th century, everybody was convinced that light has a wave nature. But further observations showed that wave nature of light is inadequate to explain the phenomena like atomic spectra, black body radiation spectrum, photoelectric effect, Compton effect, and specific heat capacity of solids. This failure led to the development of quantum mechanics or origin of quantum theory. To explain energy distribution in the black body radiation spectrum, Max Planck put forward the quantum nature of light in the year 1900. According to his theory, light is emitted from a radiator or a source in the form of discrete packets of energy E equals to nh nu, where h is Planck's constant and its value is 6.023 into 10 power minus 34 joule second, and nu is the fundamental frequency of oscillation of atoms of the material which is emitting light. Also, n is integer, that is 1, 2, 3, etc., are called quantum numbers. Next, we will discuss about some of the evidences for the quantum nature of light. The first evidence we are going to discuss in this particular class is photoelectric effect. When a beam of light of suitable frequency falls on a metal surface, electrons are liberated from the surface. This phenomenon is known as photoelectric effect, and the electrons so emitted are called as photoelectrons. This phenomenon was discovered by Heinrich Hertz of Germany in the year 1887. The photoelectrons can be obtained from non-metals and gases also, provided that light of suitable frequency is used. Next, we will discuss about the experimental setup to study the photoelectric effect. The photoelectric phenomenon can be studied with the help of apparatus schematically shown in this particular figure. Here the setup contains an evacuated glass chamber in which two electrodes C and A are enclosed, where C is made of photosensitive metal and it acts as cathode. The anode A is kept at a positive or negative potential with respect to the cathode. For reversing the potential between cathode and anode, a commutator is used in the circuit. The light radiation is allowed to enter this particular evacuated jacket through the quartz window, and it falls on the cathode C in turn, which releases photoelectrons. And you can see here the light is falling on this particular cathode, and because of the fallen light, the electrons are released and those electrons get accelerated towards this anode, and anode collects those electrons, and in turn a current flows through this particular external circuit. A microammeter is put in the external circuit, you can see here, to record current resulting from the photoelectrons, and the potential difference between cathode and anode is measured using a voltmeter. Next, we will discuss what experimentally observed while studying the photoelectric effect, and those results are put it into 5 different points. We'll discuss one by one. First one, for every photosensitive material, there exists a characteristic frequency nu naught such that for radiation below nu naught, the photoelectrons are not ejected from the surface no matter how long the radiation falls on the material and how strong its intensity is. This frequency nu naught is called threshold frequency, and the corresponding wavelength is called threshold wavelength. The second observation is, for a given radiation of frequency greater than nu naught, the photoelectric current increases with increasing the intensity of radiation. So which says, if the incident frequency is greater than nu naught, that means it is greater than threshold frequency, then current rises with increase in the intensity. Third observation, for a constant intensity and frequency of incident radiation, the photoelectric current increases with the potential difference V between the cathode and anode and reaches a constant value or saturation value, beyond which further increase in the potential difference does not affect the photoelectric current. So that observation is recorded in this particular diagram. That means for a given frequency and intensity, with the increase in the potential difference, the current value initially increases and then it becomes constant. So this constant value of current or saturation current, that depends on the intensity of the light. For low intensity, the saturation current is lower. For higher intensity, the saturation current will be higher. Now look at the observation 4. The maximum kinetic energy of the emitted photoelectrons increases with the frequency of the incident radiation and is independent of the intensity of the radiation. This maximum kinetic energy is measured by applying a negative potential to the anode A with respect to the cathode, and the negative potential is called retarding potential. As the retarding potential increases, the photoelectric current decreases. For a particular value of retarding potential, the photocurrent becomes zero. That particular potential is called stopping potential, which is denoted as Vs, and it is the measure of maximum kinetic energy of the photoelectrons. That means K maximum equals to E times Vs, and maximum kinetic energy is nothing but half m V maximum square, where m is mass of the electron, Vs is stopping potential, and V maximum is the maximum velocity of the electrons. This observation recorded as the fourth point is schematically explained using these two diagrams. In the first diagram you can see here, this is a frequency graph and this is K maximum graph. So these 2 points, this is the graph for metal 1 and this is the graph for metal 2. So here this nu naught 1, that represents threshold frequency for a metal 1, nu naught 2 is the threshold frequency for metal 2. Here the frequency of the incident radiation is greater than V naught 1, then K maximum is linearly increasing in the case of metal 1, and that is also true for metal 2. For metal 2, the threshold frequency is nu naught 2, then beyond nu naught 2, the K maximum increases with the increase in frequency. If you look at this particular graphical representation, and here this axis represents photoelectric current, this axis represents the applied potential, this is positive potential, and this side is retarding potential. If the incident frequency is nu1 and for a given intensity of the radiation, Vs1 is the stopping potential. For a frequency nu2 which is greater than nu1, Vs2 is the stopping potential, and for a frequency nu3 which is greater than both nu1 and nu2, the stopping potential is Vs3. So what is observed here is stopping potential increases with the increasing the frequency of the radiation. So what we can conclude here is, as the frequency of the incident radiation increases, stopping potential increases, and that means the maximum kinetic energy of the electron also increases with increase in the frequency. Now the fifth observation is, photoelectrons are emitted from the cathode almost instantaneously, however poor the intensity of the incident light. That is, there is no time lag between the incidence of radiation and the ejection of electrons. So, based on the experimental results what we have discussed earlier, the following laws of photoelectric effect are formulated. The first law is, photoelectrons are emitted almost instantaneously, however poor may be the intensity of the incident radiation. Second law is, the number of photoelectrons emitted in a photoelectric process is directly proportional to the intensity of the incident radiation, provided the frequency of the incident radiation is greater than the threshold value of photoelectric emitter. Third law is, the maximum kinetic energy of the emitted electrons in a photoelectric process is directly proportional to the frequency of the incident radiation and is independent of the intensity of the radiation. Next we will discuss about Einstein's concept of photon and the photoelectric equation. As we have already discussed, the photoelectric effect and the observations of what we have listed out earlier could not be explained using wave nature of light. Albert Einstein in 1905 explained the photoelectric effect by introducing the photon concept of light. According to him, light travels through space in the form of indivisible packets of energy called photons or quanta. The energy of a single photon of radiation of frequency nu is h nu. Here h is Planck's constant and nu is the frequency of radiation. When light falls on the metal surface, a photon of energy h nu is completely absorbed by a single electron in the surface. The part of this energy is used for ejecting the electron by overcoming the binding energy, and the remaining part is used for imparting the kinetic energy to the ejected electrons. The electrons ejected from very near to the surface of the metal do not suffer any collisions and thus emit with the maximum kinetic energy, K maximum. Let W is the energy required to just remove an electron from the metal surface, and this W is called work function of the given metal. Hence, we can write h nu, it is the energy of the incident photon, it is equal to W plus K maximum, or which is equal to W plus half m V maximum square. From this equation, it is clear that electrons are not emitted from the surface if the energy of the incident photon is less than W. If nu naught is the threshold frequency, then the threshold energy is equal to work function W, so which is W equals to h nu naught. We can write h nu equals to h nu naught plus K maximum, or by rearranging this we can write K maximum equals to h into nu minus nu naught. This equation is called Einstein's photoelectric equation. For this equation and the explanation of photoelectric effect, Einstein was awarded Nobel Prize in the year 1921. Now let us discuss how this Einstein's photoelectric equation able to explain the experimental observation in the photoelectric effect. As we have already discussed, the Einstein's photoelectric equation is K maximum equals to h into nu minus nu naught, where h is Planck's constant and nu naught is threshold frequency. Now in this particular equation, if frequency of the incident radiation nu is less than nu naught, then the kinetic energy K maximum of the photoelectrons would be negative, because if nu is less than nu naught, this term becomes negative, which is not possible. That means negative kinetic energy is not possible, which means if nu is less than nu naught, energy of the photon is not sufficient to remove an electron from the surface of the metal, and thus photocurrent cannot be produced. Now the second point is, if the intensity of the light of a given frequency falling on the cathode is increased, the number of photons striking the surface per second will increase, but the energy h nu of each photon will remain the same. Hence, the number of electrons emitted per second will correspondingly increase, thereby increasing the photoelectric current. But the maximum kinetic energy, that is K maximum equal to half m V maximum square, will remain the same, because maximum kinetic energy depends on the incident frequency and not on the intensity of the incident radiation. The third point is, we have seen here in the photoelectric equation, the maximum kinetic energy will increase linearly with the increase in frequency. As nu increases, K maximum also increases, which means K maximum versus nu graph is a straight line. The fourth point, as soon as the first photon strikes the surface of the metal, it is immediately absorbed by some electrons on the surface. Thus, those electrons escape instantaneously. Hence, there is no time lag between the incidence of radiation and ejection of electrons. And thus, this very small equation K maximum equals to h nu minus nu naught was able to explain all the experimental observations made on photoelectric effect. Next, physical significance of this photoelectric effect. Photoelectric effect is a phenomenon of electromagnetic radiation and which could not be explained using a wave model of light. This photoelectric effect was explained on the basis that incident light energy appears in the small energy packets called photons, and there is one-to-one interaction between photons and electrons. Thus, the photoelectric phenomenon is an evidence for the particle nature of light, which means until the explanation of photoelectric effect, everybody thought light has a wave nature, but the one very important phenomenon, photoelectric effect, another one we are going to see in the next video, that is Compton effect, which cannot be explained using wave nature of light. For explaining those phenomena, the particle nature of light is very much essential. Thus, this photoelectric effect is an evidence for the existence of particle nature of light. Thank you.